When words become popular through the media, social and professional, they have a tendency to lose their meaning, sometimes even coming to mean the very opposite of the original definition. Prime example is the word literally, where before it used to indicate that what was being described was in no way metaphorical, hyperbole, or figurative, and the subject being outlined was, in fact, exactly as the words used described it. Now it seems to be used for emphasis, to grab for legitimacy, regardless of the facts. Instead of what I mean is what I said, literally has come to mean really, really, very, very much. When words lose their meaning, communication becomes difficult, if not impossible. It helps if care is taken and accuracy is a priority. I know many people are sloppy with their language, and I'm not 100% immune myself, though I do try to be, and it's better for understanding if they weren't. One of those words being used this way lately is terrorist. It's far too often being applied to absolutely any hate group that is willing to use violence, regardless of why they employ those tactics, and sometimes used to label hate groups that don't even use violence at all, who are just aggressive. It's an emotionally charged term, and labeling an individual or a group as such tends to destroy any legitimacy they might have had. In much the same way as, literally, it has come to mean really, really, very, very much in its own way, meant less to describe and more as invective. But a terrorist is not just someone with a socio-political agenda who will engage in violence in its name. Terrorism is meant specifically to shape policy, to force the hand of a government. For example, beating someone up because you don't like the demographic into which they fit, or even a lynching by racists, is not intended to change policy. It's violence against an individual for its own sake, and thus not terrorism. Now, if they've officially delivered an ultimatum to the government that more people will be hurt unless laws A, B, and C were passed, now they've crossed the threshold into terrorism. In many ways, terrorism is a lot like taking hostages, even if they haven't literally done so. It's a way of telling a government, do as we say, or more people will die, more places will be damaged. Without that element, without the violence intended as a threat to change policy, the label of terrorist is not accurate. But these days, because of its emotional impact, people tend to apply it to just about anybody that might even look vaguely similar to the terrorists who do fit the definition. I realize this is pedantic, and a lot of people probably started rolling their eyes several sentences ago, but I really do think that this distinction can be important, specifically because of the impact of applying it. It shapes not only the response, but the target of that response and upon whose shoulders that response duty falls. If a terrorist group attacks a foreign country and they are not doing so as an official representative of their own country's government, declaring war on that country is a mistake and makes of them an enemy that may not have previously existed. It's the group upon whom the response should be directed, not absolutely anybody who happens to live nearby them. Fighting terrorism isn't necessarily a call to arms, a declaration of war, which is why the distinction also determines who should respond: the military, covert agencies, local law enforcement, federal investigators, and so on. The distinction between who is a terrorist and who isn't actually matters. So stop just throwing around the word terrorist willy-nilly because it feels good to do it. Make sure you're applying it properly. It's to everybody's benefit.
You've got two choices. You can rate this video and share it everywhere across social media, or I can send my minions after you. Choose wisely.